welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. Today we are talking about the two main types of career concerns because I was really inspired by a live training I did in Hustle Hive a couple weeks ago, and one of the women listening in chimed in and said, well, how do I know if the issues are with me or with the J.O.B? Ultimately, what she was asking is, are the career concerns I'm feeling valid? Are they something that are just based on me feeling frustrated and wanting to write this job off? Or are these real things that are worth leaving over? First of all, I was really impressed by her self-awareness because that's acknowledging, right, that you are a very important element of the career satisfaction conversation, right? There's obviously real things about the company, but also how you show up in that company, and those are going to impact the way you feel at work. And so I was so impressed by her self-awareness, but ultimately her question was one in the line of many that I've heard in this vein, because so often people come to me and they say, you know, I've been feeling doubt, I'm having questions about this, and it's hard for them to really articulate what's going wrong in their career. And so they feel like maybe I'm just totally crazy. Maybe it's none of this is valid, and what the heck am I even thinking about? Now, ultimately, people who are in this state, if this is you, what you're really looking for is relief, right? You want to be able to name, be able to identify, okay, here's what's going on and why it's bothering me. Because once you can name it, you can start to actually work on adjusting as a result of it. And so if this is coming up for you at all this week, I wanted to share two tips for you. First and foremost, I want you to remember that whatever is coming up for you is valid, period, end of sentence, okay? The concerns that you're having about the career are for a reason. Typically, right, there can be things that are seasonal, or maybe it's been a particularly busy time, but I want you first and foremost to acknowledge that you're never wrong for having the thoughts that you're having about work. So just start by accepting that and remembering it. But then the second thing I wanted to really teach you today is about the two main categories of career concerns, because by understanding these two categories, it can help you to articulate what's going wrong, what the real concern is that you have, and then it allows you to be in a place where you're like, okay, how can I address this? And so the two main categories I wanted to share with you are, most career concerns fall in one of two buckets. This is just what works for me in terms of identifying them. So there's the what and the how. The how is the logisticy stuff. So the hours I work, the team that I work with, my ability to continue to learn there, my growth trajectory. These are all of the logisticy things of the way in which the work is being done. And then there's the bucket of what. And what is concerns with what you're doing as a whole. And so very, very often people come to me trying to solve all these how problems. They'll list off, well, it's my manager, it's my team, my this, that, and the other. But when we dig into, okay, well, how fulfilled are you with what you're doing as a whole? Sometimes I get a big old answer of, well, not so much. And that's the problem, right? If you're trying to solve logisticy things, you can continue to change companies with better culture, with a better manager, and yet you're not solving the core real problem. And so I want you to remember that these are the two main buckets. And if you're trying to solve, you know, a what problem, a larger question about fulfillment, and you're doing it by changing companies with a better culture, with a better team, with a better this, that, and the other, hoping that it's going to fix the question that you're having, it's probably not. And I say that with a lot of love and a lot of understanding because I've been there, but I want you to understand these two main groups, okay? So I want to hear below from you what's coming up for you. If you are having concerns about your career, are they based in the how you're doing things or what you're doing as a whole? So either drop it below, feel free to shoot me a direct message, but remember these tips for the week. If you're feeling some questions about, is it me or is it the J.O.B? Remember, your feelings are valid, and do your best to identify the feelings into one of those two buckets so that you can then start to address them. Obviously, feel free to reach out for me. I'm happy to help. I'm running the next group of Career Clarity Camp, which is all about solving those larger issues with what you're doing as a whole and feeling fulfillment from your role. And the next one starts in a few weeks. So if you have questions about that, I'll drop the link to apply below, but you can also just shoot me a message. But start there, because once you're able to identify what exactly is going on and where these qualms are based, you're going to be able to start to take action to resolve it. So begin with that, and in the meantime, happy working!